Welcome to Fit, Rich, Sane. All of you want to be healthier, wealthier, and wiser. And I'm going to show you the shortest and the most efficient route that you can take today to become richer, fitter, and saner without spending hours every day. At the end of this episode, I'm going to direct you to a tool by which you will be able to calculate exactly how much money you should invest per month to reach your short term and your long term goals. This is episode 1, and in the first few episodes, I will tell you how you can become very rich. To see what I write about, you can head over to fitrichsane.com. Today, we are going to discuss the various steps that you must take before you invest your first rupee. I understand that it is very exciting to see your money grow when you invest it. But in this excitement, some very basic steps which are required, absolutely required before you start investing get overlooked. And surprisingly, very few people talk about these steps. Without much ado, the first step that you need to take is developing an emergency fund. Now, we have always been told to hope for the best, but what we forget is we are also supposed to prepare for the worst. Imagine that you start investing. In less than a few years, your total net worth will become a few lakhs. But we have to be prepared for the worst. Shit happens. You can lose your job, your spouse can lose their jobs, your sibling might need money, you might want to send your parents on a trip, a legal liability can come up. One of hundreds of absolutely unpredictable things can happen, driving your corpus to zero. Now you might say that it is not a big deal. You reached a couple of lakhs once, you can do it again. But the problem here is not that you are losing money. You can always earn more, recover it. But you're losing out on time and thus the power of compounding. To give you an example, let's say that you invested 2 lakh rupees at the age of 30 years at an interest of 8% per annum. If you don't understand the details right now, it's totally fine. But just try to imagine that you invested 2 lakh at the age of 30. If you leave it till your retirement, when you withdraw it at 60, this 2 lakh would have become 20 lakh. That's 10 times. If, however, for any reason, you had to withdraw it and you start again with the same 2 lakh when you turn 40 instead of 30, till the time of your retirement, it becomes just 10 lakh. Just imagine, just because you delayed by a few years, your corpus came down to half. So this is a risk that I'm sure you cannot take. As I said, it's not about losing money, but losing out on the power of compounding is a much bigger loss. Us mortals, we cannot generate more time. Another reason that you need a dedicated emergency fund is that your conventional investments like FDs and mutual funds have exit loads. If you withdraw them before a specified period of time, you have to pay a penalty. So please understand that even when it comes to investing, time is your most valuable asset. Develop your emergency fund today. If this point is clear now, let's move to the second step that you must take before you start investing. And that is getting a life insurance. This is something you must do from your very first salary. But it is very, very important here to note that it is not supposed to give you any benefit, any return. You're not supposed to earn anything from your life insurance. It is just supposed to secure your family's future in the case of a mishappening, that is, in the case of your death. Now, the biggest confusion with most investment options, including a life insurance, is that we don't know which one we should go for. There are so many options out there. But this decision becomes easy when you learn, memorize, and repeat with me the simple rule that insurance is not an investment. It is not a tax saving tool. It is an expense. Please treat it like one. It is just supposed to reduce the risk of a future greater payment. When you insure your vehicle, do you ask the insurance provider what will happen if your car does not meet with an accident? Do you ask if the premium will be returned? No, right? Very similarly, please do not expect a return from your life insurance either. It is just a premium that you are paying for safeguarding your family's finances in case they lose you. Now, one may argue that even if they are getting a small return from their insurance, why shouldn't they take it? It's better than no return at all. To understand this, think of the difference in premium, the extra premium that you're paying, as an opportunity cost. If you invest this premium somewhere else, you will get a much higher return. Now, once we have finally understood that insurance is not to gain returns, you will understand that the only kind of life insurance you should go for is a term insurance. And we will get into the nitty-gritties of term insurance in another few episodes. But for now, the third and the final step that you must take before investing is that you must get your health insurance. In the first step, we created our emergency fund. But there are some emergencies that you can almost foresee. Whether we like it or not, someone in our family will ultimately face medical expenses. How much it can amount to, nobody knows. But today, one illness is enough to erode your entire life savings, and that is the sad truth. Just like life insurance, even this is not supposed to grow your money. It is also a guard against a future, much bigger expense. Of course, we hope that all the premium you pay goes waste. You get nothing out of it. But it still makes sense to be prepared for emergencies. At a young age, it's okay to be dependent on the insurance provided by your employer. But please read the fine lines, cover limit, inclusions and exclusions very carefully. In conclusion, before you start investing, and you must invest your money to become wealthy, but before you start investing, you must develop your emergency fund, get your life insured, and get your health insurance. That is it. Now you know everything that you need to do before starting on your investment journey. I hope you implement this. That is the most important part. Thanks for staying with me till the very end of the episode. I sincerely hope that you got value from the time you have spent with me. In case I missed anything, or if you have any doubts, please send me an email at hi@fitrichsane.com. In the next episode, we will discuss where you should keep your emergency fund and how much you should have. For future learnings on how you can become fitter, richer, and saner, subscribe to the podcast. Finally, it's time for the disclaimer. Everything I have said in this episode is true, to the best of my knowledge. But exact financial recommendations vary person to person depending on your individual financial situation. Get a financial advisor, talk to them, but now at least you will understand what they are talking about. Before I go, as promised, you can head over to fitrichsane.com where you will find an Excel sheet where you can input your goals, and the Excel sheet will tell you how much you are supposed to invest per month to attain your goals and where.